adventures are born. Through technique, a boxer can get sharper and crisper. But when it comes to vicious, devastating one-shot KO power, you have it or you don't. Julian Jackson was blessed by God with a touch of death. His 49 career knockouts brought him from obscurity in the Virgin Islands to the middleweight championship of the world. His power made opponents nostalgic because when he landed, their lives flashed before their eyes.
I believe Julian is one of the best hidden secrets in boxing. I believe that the world will know that Julian Jackson is one of the best fighters in the world.
While the Lord giveth legendary power, the Lord taketh from his durability. Julian lost only 6 fights, all by being on the wrong end of an early KO himself. Join us as we walk through the valley of the shadow of death and we look at the aftermath of the explosions of the ultimate glass cannon in boxing history. As always, click that like button and subscribe to stay up to the minute on all sweet science. Julian smashed his way to the top. For his early opponents who knew not what they agreed to, I offer sincere condolences to the wives and children. Those brave, unfortunate souls who showed up, sight unseen, with a plus 500 record, and absolutely no understanding of what they were up against.
Just like to say to Mike Tyson, man, you know, I could do it too, you know.
Before YouTube, when fighters were coming up, video was hard to come by. The most his early opponents knew about him were vague rumblings that Julian could crack. They showed up with game plans, with technique, with bravery, and confidence. Before long, they were out on the floor like Shang Tsung stole their souls. Julian Jackson looked unstoppable, having violently KO'd 27 of his 29 opponents. Julian got his first title shot at 150-pound undefeated champion Mike McCallum. Mike was right on pace with him at 26-0 with 23 KOs. The moment the bell rings, Jackson smashes straight into him. But unlike all the others, Mike McCallum doesn't fall down and twitch. Mike uses excellent defense to survive and find some hard counters of his own. You knew it couldn't last long. In the second round, Julian got lazy with his jab, and Mike found his way around it to drop him with a left hook. Julian never quite recovered as Mike managed to pour it on and end his undefeated streak. From here on out, getting to Julian before he got you was the only blueprint to beat him. So every fight became a short, decisive slugfest. Trying to outslug the hardest hitter in human history was not a good idea, even if it was the only idea available. Julian went back to St. Thomas, KO'd some locals, then got the call to take on Korea's Baek In-chul for the WBA 154-pound title McCallum had vacated. In the first round, Julian did an unusual stance switching. He leads with a huge right hand, which misses, but it was just a subtle cover for a shift into southpaw and a mean short left hand that dropped him. Two rounds later, Jackson found a clean right hook from the southpaw stance to wobble the Korean again. It was all downhill from there. The second knockdown came off a vicious left hook. Before long, Mills Lane had to jump in to save the out-on-his-feet contender. Buster Drayton tried the same thing.
Drayton does what he just did, leaping right with one big bomb that nearly caught the champ. Switches to southpaw. You never know which direction he's coming at you from. Good work inside by the champion Jackson, snapping back the head of Drayton.
He pressured Julian, who used a moment of poor balance and a collar tie to catch Drayton on a clean right hand that dropped him. Drayton managed to tough his way through 2 more rounds.
Drayton does a lot of no-nos. He got up smiling, but Jackson pressed. Jackson throws vicious punches to the body.
Before Julian iced him with a devastating left hook. Julian knew the moment he landed, he knocked somebody out. He called it as it happened.
Whenever I hit my opponent and I knew that I caught him right, I would just walk away because I feel a shock.
The best KO victim on his resume might be terrible Terry Norris. While Julian was a champion at 28, the 22-year-old Norris had made waves with his shocking speed and beautiful fluidity. When the young buck came for the top dog's title, Julian Jackson obliged him.
Norris done. There was no counterpunch coming back from the champion, but Norris got under it if it was.
Terry Norris fought about as perfect a first round as you will ever see. It was one mistake: hanging out on the ropes for a split second too long. The punch moved about 8 inches. Terry Norris froze like a computer. If the first right shut him down, the second was a right to remain silent.
Terry Norris is gone. He lost his concentration for one critical moment and caught a right hand from the champion. Terry Norris struggles to get up.
When he took on English defensive master Harold Graham, things were not looking good.
Well, it's a more aggressive start from Graham.
Harold had Julian confused and under constant pressure. Some horribly placed swelling threatened to cut Julian's night short. The ring doctor gave him one last round. Harold Graham couldn't resist. He wanted to knock the champion out. He chased him into a corner, ended up the shadow round for a full 6 minutes. It was a punch that justified an exit wound. I don't know what death feels like, but wherever Harold went for those 6 minutes has got to be close.
Well behind in points, but at a long last day, Graham's lying of a tight defence.
If standing in front of Julian Jackson, right, could have been Mike Tyson, it could have been anybody, any of the heavyweights, and if it hit them, they would have gone spark out like I did. 6 minutes out, okay? It doesn't matter how much chin exercises you do, right? I'm telling you, if you get hit there, you go under, and I did, all right?
Dennis Milton had 3 bad mistakes. His first was signing the contract. His second was refusing to touch gloves. His third was trying to clinch Julian as he came off the ropes.
I asked Milton what he has to do to upset Jackson. He said, my boxing ability and boxing savvy will take care of that. He said Jackson's going out. Jackson told us he doesn't think Milton can withstand.
Jackson knew it was coming. He used a frame-up with his left to get his time and distance. One clean right was all it ever took.
And down goes Milton. Julian Jackson retains his WBC middleweight championship, knocking out Dennis Milton.
Our final narcoleptic is Ishmael Negron. He made one simple mistake. His right hand strayed out of position. Julian Jackson's blessing was ambidextrous. A beautiful leaping left hook rolled Ishmael's eyes and title hopes in the first round. Win or lose, Julian Jackson fights were defined by raw power. no man in history had a deeper well to draw from.
They call me the Hawk because there's a lot of chicken running from the Hawk. And I want the world to know that Julian Jackson is making his mark in the boxing today.